Okay, that was really irritating. That was purely my ISP being annoying. So let's see if we can get this show on the road again. If somebody could just, I don't know, say,
I would never want
hey,
to
the
belong
letter
to
B,
this
thank you very
club
much for the
or have
follow.
someone like me for a member.
Um, cool. If somebody could say like potato or something like that in chat just to confirm that they can see me or hear me. Nope. Isaacson gave the... There we go. Yeah, sorry guys. I don't know what the deal was. My internet just quite literally blanked out. I tried to send messages through my phone. I don't know if they got through. But that's fine because I kind of felt like I was babbling anyway. So I'm just going to do a quick refresh on the screen. Okay. I think I lost like all the hosts and stuff like that, so I felt a little bad about that. But thank you for those of you who stuck around. We just finished an election, so we've re-elected the existing ruler. All good there. We'll have a new mandate. And I was on my way to taking my existing fleets and take them to the Devil's Maw, where we would take a science ship to explore. Actually, that's what we're going to take. We're going to take this science ship to the Devil's Maw, and then we can just transport a scientist to go investigate it when we have a chance. So yeah, sorry about that. I feel like the momentum's kind of lost, but we will do our best with what we've got. So just to recap about what we were trying to do. So our first goal was to eliminate any hostiles within our borders, and we've now accomplished that. The next phase is going to be to close up any existing gaps, which will be where potential rebels come from.
Complete.
At the moment, it's only a piracy risk of 2%, but there's ways we can fix that pretty simply. Building on Bintu, exploring and building on Pandil, taking this little cluster of systems, the Solu system.
Complete.
All these little steps are things that we can do to sort of minimize the
Complete.
risks of nasties spawning. Okay, first thing I want to do with you is convert you to an Alpine world. Are you an Alpine world? You are an Alpine world. Okay, so Bintu is now ours. Again, we can convert that into something a little bit nicer for us.
We have mastered a new technology.
Of course. All right, we've got the arc emitter, which again I could upgrade all my fleets with, but we'll never make any progress if I keep on this way. So forceful
System
weapons that
survey
launch a
complete.
lightning arc of chaotic energy at targets, which in part can ignore armor and shields. By the way, Sin, I know I said this before, but congratulations on your Horizon Zero Dawn board game work. I hope that Kickstarter that I linked had the appropriate video, because I know you sent me the YouTube one, but I was very happy to
We have mastered a
see
new technology.
they kept your work. All right, apparently I'm losing energy. I wasn't expecting that. The latest generation of cruiser hulls have been optimized structural integrity fields and improved bulkheads. Okay, let's do battleship hull points first. Let's find out. So our main costs, ship upkeep makes sense. Ah, somebody moved off the Galactic Stock Exchange.
Our ships have been upgraded. Construction complete.
Jesus. I've really been squandering my energy, apparently. Following a long period of growing support for the Oklar Unity movement, the Galactic Oklar Empire has finally embraced the faction, adopting their core values and policies. As a result of bringing this faction into their government, they have now become more outwardly xenophobic. Alright, our vassals are becoming more racist. Which means they kind of don't like me, but you know what, that's... Oh, hang on, these are the Ilgaharn. Sorry, they all look the same to me. There we go. So looks like most people are at the Devil's Maw. So in an emergency, I can start dismantling some of these defensive platforms. Some kind of unknown structures are floating in this gas giant's upper atmosphere. They appear to be using aerostatic lift to remain buoyant. And strategic resource discovered during its survey of Sisja 3, the ISS Anne Gavinonis discovered a previously unknown strategic resource dubbed Pytharian dust. This fine, energy-dense dust serves as an excellent fertilizer. Its use would greatly enhance our food production. We have the technology. If we control the system, we can extract this resource. Well, we will consider it, but I need to figure out what I'm doing with these guys first. There's one side that wants me to sort of expand these borders out, but there's another one that says I should really be reserving this for things within my walls. But in this case, I get energy, which I want to do. So where's the 7th Star Order? They're going to be taking a while. How about the 1st Star? First Star Order will be there on time. So I think we're going to wait for the science ship to arrive.
Construction complete.
We'll move the scientist in place, and then we'll see. We'll kind of kick off the party.
Construction complete.
A ruined network of aerostat colonies dating back at least 3 millennia can be found in low orbit of this gas giant. Their original function appears to have been gas mining, but they have since been abandoned and reoccupied by many different races and pirate groups. The colonies have been thoroughly stripped of anything even remotely valuable, but the mere fact that they are still aloft after all this time makes them an interesting subject of engineering research. Okay. Again, I'm not exactly squandering, but I'm definitely skirting some of my self-imposed rules on areas I'd sort of colonize or take over. I think we're going to go to Sisja. This is a pretty high priority system for me to take because that was where the mysterious tanker was. So let's see what the deal is. This one's idle, but we should be able
System
to...
survey complete.
Derelict tanker of unknown unknown origin orbits Sisja 2. Its reservoir is heavy with some manner of organic substance. We'll do that. Again, if this particular system isn't familiar, it's the one where we fought that horrifying sort of psionic entity. So obviously it's interesting to see what happens after we conquer and investigate.
Complete.
This is of course a Gaia world, which makes me happy, but it's a small Gaia world, so... Okay, let's get you building mining stations and then a new starbase. Will the 7th Star Order get there in time? Probably not.
Construction complete.
Yeah, it'll be there after the science ship. I do have a lot of minerals though, so we can probably... Oh, Jesus.
Colonization
Upgrade everything.
We have mastered a new technology.
Okay, so for my shipyards, let's take a minute here. Diab Station. Yep, that's mine. I'm okay giving you an extra shipyard. I'll upgrade you to Citadel. I still have 10k left over. Now, Iestra, I think, has outlived its usefulness as a sort of as a shipyard. So what we're going to do is we're going to repurpose all of this and turn it into more of a trading So resource silo, yeah, resource silo and Oop. Where are you? There's a resource silo. Okay, now Slia. I mean, it's a very similar story. If Diab is the new base, I think we're gonna convert 3 of you into something a little more useful and commercial. Conviab. Okay, that's a defensive station. Akamar is defensive. Jasmak is defensive, but needs an upgrade. Borbagon we can probably upgrade. That's apparently a defensive station. But defensive for what? I don't even see a reason as having this. Yeah, there's no reason to have this place anymore. We don't have any colonized... Oh, we do have colonized planets. Okay. Well, we will turn swords to plowshares. And we'll turn you into a black site. This is just a little bit of housekeeping that I'm doing. Logistics office. I think black site's already being turned into a citadel. Minok. I'm probably going to wind up getting rid of some of these defensive platforms because they are a little bit of a drain on my resources. Alright. Where are you? It's kind of in the heart of everything, so I think we're good to do more of the same. Logistics office. And we'll upgrade you to a citadel. Don't have the money to upgrade those to a citadel, but I do have the money to upgrade these. Okay, I think we've done as much as we can with our existing resources, so that'll give my star bases a little something. I also have quite a bit of cap to work with now, so eventually what I want to do is make sure that all of my colony worlds have got star bases, but I also want to start making sure that some of these gateways have got some defensive structures on them as well. Now, I'm lucky in that I've taken this technology before anybody else has, which means that they're not going to be able to send like nasty things through those gates, but it is an eventuality that I need to prepare for. I'm going to do another ridiculous thing here, and that is upgrade my farms. One strategy I'm going to try and employ later on, this will be in a different playthrough, I want to try taking a species that gets unity points based off of the farms that it has. Because that strikes me as a really great way to get some additional traditions, which are very strong. And if you notice right now, I'm generating a surplus of 450 that is basically just rotting away. Like, there's nothing that I can do with this right now. So the most sensible thing for me to do is to basically convert these into resource producing resource producing buildings. Now, I'm a little constrained here because obviously this is a slave unit. It's not going to be as effective in making energy. So this might be something I consider doing, you know, at a later time when I'm going to be doing my big shuffling of the deck in terms of population placement. But for the meantime, there's sort of other bigger fish to fry. And I did promise that I would open the L gates, which is my main focus right now. But just a bit of an example of something that I want to get done as soon as I can. I also never did find where that trophy wound up. I should be looking at my planets. I don't think, like, if I were to... I don't have it as an option to build, so there's definitely some place that has built it, but it's probably in an AI area. All right, Marvels of Medicine. As the ISS Angavinonis crew have identified the derelict tanker in orbit of Sisaja 2, it is an advanced medical research vessel. Sorry, I butchered that sentence. Its construction suggests that it was created by the same aliens who built the wormhole destabilizer in the Ofang system, and like the station, it has been abandoned for quite some time. While most of the tanker's data systems have suffered irrevocable degradation, Gab, daughter of Skeg, has recovered the molecular structure for a remarkable neuroregenerative agent from on board. The agent appears to work via transfusion and should serve to significantly increase the generation of neurons, axons, and synapses in its recipient. If modified to suit Valen neurology, this agent should notably improve the learning capacity of any Valen exposed to it. So we've gained the research option of neural tissue engineering and 30% progress towards it. Finally, infusing crop strands with small amounts of nanomachines help to create the type of produce that is ultra-resilient and the chemical composition of which can be tailored and altered during its entire lifetime. So we'll gain farm level 4 and 5. I'm tempted to go for another core sector system, but that's like 100 months that I'll be waiting, so neural tissue engineering 31 months sounds much better.
Construction complete.
Okay, so we will continue to push the borders out.
Construction complete.
This guy will build a research station on just to buy us a little bit of time to
Our
continue
ships
this
have
work.
been upgraded.
Alright, is everybody sitting at Devil's Maw? More or less. Science ship's still got a little way to go, so. And I will take over this. I'll take over this area when I get a construction ship in the area. I believe this guy's on his way. Yeah.
Construction complete.
I don't know if we'll get pirates generating from that area, but we should. I want to allow for that possibility. And at the moment, we're really focused on just getting the. We're really focused on getting the gate opened. Now, the real problem is if terrible things start coming out of multiple gates, at which point I've got my fleet entirely concentrated in one area and we have like 3 or 4 across my empire. But hopefully if we open one gate, we'll be able to go through it and then we'll be able to fix the problems. The agreement we signed giving you access to our databanks has run its course. Would you like to extend it for another 10 standard years, or do your researchers no longer require the information we offer? As always, we'd like to extend the deal. We make a ridiculous amount of energy as it is, so it's a very easy way to spend it, and it's one that helps us immensely.
Construction complete.
Orbital research done. We'll build another Titan assembly yards. Oh, that's a good question. Can I build any more Titans? The only thing holding us back is money. I'll build what I'll call a precautionary Titan.
Construction complete.
Okay, so many construction ships idle. We'll get you to just build everything. We'll get you to... Yay, I can expand. We'll get you to build mining stations, colony ships, get a colony ship. Okay, this guy's got nothing better to do now. Let's get them on cleanup duty, actually. I'm gonna move them to Sooth. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm gonna put them... So while that's on its way to Sooth, we're gonna put them on the other science ship, the one that was in a strange dimension, because that's definitely not gonna backfire. And they'll have the honors of opening the L gate.
Construction complete. Colonization efforts begun.
Oh boy. Fear campaign, definitely don't want that still. Education campaign, recycling, and healthcare. So these are just really easy ways for me to spend energy. And I've got a lot of it, so... I should probably be paying attention to what's happening on Cybrix. Obviously, I need to be building some droids. Is this even in my systems? New Paylob. I don't own this? Oh, that's right, because it put me over my cap. Well, I gotta fix that. Okay, so I'm over the limit here. But in exchange, I think I can give them Caesar is the best. Caesar or Bira? Caesar is pretty good. Bira is also pretty good, but this really is a pretty small sector. I gotta give him Caesar. That makes me feel bad that I did that, but I don't see any other way that I can... You know, the other way I could handle it... How did I work myself into that? I'm just thinking of like trying to find a way to give them... yeah, something like that. I think like I really should kind of incorporate... Actually, you know what? Let's just go nuts. Let's not worry about the continuity of the borders. See what happens when I destroy a sector. I'm assuming I'm gonna have to like draw down the resources from that other one. Yeah, so Schmo Schmo just became enormous. I probably have a surplus of governors now. So the good news is I can make a new sector. Does it make sense for me to make the new sector, though? Oh, hang on. Yeah, I don't... How did they wind up being... Okay. I think I messed up somewhere. So Minok is this one. Akamal is this one. So I should have one here, one here, one here, one there. I did screw up. Okay, so we'll create a new sector starting here. Ah, this is so dumb of me. I should have just left it. Especially because I'm assuming these are now going to be like permanently part of some other... Yeah, so this is just a mess now. Okay, so I gotta remove the... Why did I do this? Okay, so Schmo Schmo ends here. Okay, this is all good. So basically, one of the things I want to do, one, I want to make sure that the AI is still colonizing these planets that it can. And the next thing I'm kind of setting up for is the moving of my capital. So I'm actually going to do something a little crazy here. I'm going to give myself 15 systems. K5, thank you very much for that host again. Sorry about the... so it costs a bunch of influence to move the capital. Good to know. Is Aether good? Yeah, that was on me. My ISP decided to be a little annoying, so... I'm also just doing some... I kind of messed up my sectors, so I'm doing a little bit of housekeeping in that regard. So I think Liseth has to be one of these things that I give over. Yeah, at least we're not losing too much on Liseth, I don't think. Now, do I lose anything by giving them Tissalum? I mean, it's a size 19 planet, so that's not great to lose. But I do eventually need to make the cut, so let's try something. Oh, here's a neat idea. So I can give them Bashpat, which I don't think was one of my... Oh, it's a size 21. What about Bree? Just trying to find a way to justify what's Themen. That's another big one. Welcome. 25. I gotta give up 2 planets. Kemjun. Okay, size 17. That's not a bad one to lose. So I give up 1 more planet. It's also a little silly that I'm doing this, of course, because Cybrix is cut off from all these other areas now, but I'll make sense of that later anyway. Well, you know what? I'm already making wacky borders, so there, you get Efrov. And we'll tax the heck out of these guys. And we'll give them 2k to start off with. Alright, so now this is my problem to deal with.
Our ships have been upgraded. Construction complete.
Sully, not your Valen hands with that work.
Our ships have been upgraded.
Physics lab. Okay, I gotta figure out what I'm doing here. I definitely want a monument. Droids on everything but the Paradise Dome. Obviously I don't need more food, but oh yeah, one of these has to become, well, that's fine because eventually they'll replace. And what I think I'm going to do for this one, we'll build basic science and then all the other special buildings like military academies and like shield generators. All of the surplus buildings will be built on these empty tiles because I've just got so much extra space. But this should take care of my worlds for now. All right. Science ship is on its way. Esteemed President Etha, daughter of Noga, a decade ago the Valen polity pledged to support the artisan troop, and so you have. The time of your patronage is coming to an end, but we would be remiss not to ask, would you care to renew your subscription to the finest arts and crafts in the galaxy? It's a deal. Let's take a minute to get our construction ships underway, because I have a feeling I'm going to have a whole bunch of things to do once I open the gate. What the hell do I want this thing to do? I have like no undeveloped resources. Is anybody colonizing this yet? Nope. There you go. Got your job. All right. Research.
Construction
the project.
complete.
This will be a special moment. Because I've never opened an L-gate before. And I don't know what's waiting for me. But I am assuming there is a there is a reason why I've put my entire fleet in front of it. Although maybe I should be keeping some stuff away. Yeah, I'm gonna lose my nerve. The 6th, the 7th, the 5th, the 6th, and the 7th fleet. I'm gonna put one system over in case something really scary comes and just destroys everything. We'll have a contingency. Alright, we're still waiting to claim these for ourselves. So. Makan, daughter of Sag, has perished. An ill omen. Brain Slug makes you better, so we'll recruit that one. But it does give me an opportunity for an appropriately dramatic
Construction complete.
Yeah, I'll be waiting a while. This construction ship can do some work though. You can keep working on Tau Ceti and then you can move on to your mining duties.
Special product complete.
Holy crap! This is amazing! Just kidding. Eldrakes emerge. We pried open the gate to the L cluster, only to find something waiting for us on the other side. After the old wounds in subspace had been torn open... After the old wounds in subspace had been torn open, but before the L gates had been fully stabilized, it broke through. A giant creature, hastily dubbed the Eldrake, has emerged into the Heaven's Gate system, and frenzied reports indicate that similar scenes are playing out in all L Gate systems across the galaxy. Ah! The Heaven's Gate specimen does not appear hostile, and it is already on the move. It appears to be searching for something. The projections put its final destination down as the Siet system. It is unlikely to find whatever it is looking for there. Alarming. The Takim system.
Construction complete.
Okay then. Oh my god, did I need to write that down? I just hope I don't own any of what that was looking for. I am concerned, but also intrigued. Alright, what are you up to? They're on their way. You know what? I bet I'm closer, so... You can research the Ruinous Core. The Ka Aranis. Move here. I guess I can... I think I'm gonna put this one on ice for a little while. Alright, see, the problem with that conclusion... oh, freed dragons, immature specimen. Oh, okay, this is good, so... It's the Geogawa system. Uh-oh. Alright, first, second, and third. Move your butts there. Wait a minute, why can't you use the L gate? Oh, Jesus, what? Okay, sorry, I gotta make sense of this. So it's fully connected to the L-Gate network, but I don't seem to be able to move through it. Okay, anyways, first, second, and third are on their way. Next concern. Lusage Black, the Sosta system. Fourth, fifth, and sixth. We'll go to the Sosta system. And then we had a third one I needed to worry about. That's bloody close to home, and I don't think 17k is really going to do the trick. Well, we'll stay around the area.
System survey complete.
This is gonna get interesting.
We have claimed a new world for our people.
These things also seem to be classified as titans. So cute.
Construction complete.
Okay, let's just exploit the heck out of everything we can here.
We have mastered a new technology.
So the real question is whether or not I want to add this system to a sector or not, because it's only a size 9 Gaia world. This wouldn't be a terrible candidate to go to this sector, actually. Okay, neural tissue engineering. When tailored to a species' genome, this form of tissue engineering has intensive neuroregenerative properties, significantly increasing the development of neurons, axons, and synapses in its recipient. So I can boost my... You know what? I think I did say I was going to go for the extra ascension perk. Okay, so we lost a scientist. We'll go to the scientist store and buy a new one, and the young one with the brain slug wins the competition. So you can continue to survey. This guy can... So I'm feeling a little bit better about my decision not to build that extra... Hang on, didn't I tell you to... The exception!
Construction complete.
Thank you very much. And Jesse Quell, how are you doing? Oh, sorry, I didn't see you. You must have... Oh no, you just came in, sorry. I don't know if you saw, but the Space Cats opened up the L gates. And I thought there was... Oh, this thing's arriving in its destination. So we are about to find out what the hell this thing is looking for. But it's awfully cute. God, this is a really beautiful model. That is so disconcerting. They're all in place, and they're all just sitting there. They're doing a remarkably good job. Like, so one thing I really like about... Oh, do I have two guys in here? I am a moron. Okay, let's get you... Okay, so I've got someone taking care of these, someone taking care of these. People up at the frontier, I guess I can put someone in this sector. But I've got more construction ships than I really know what to do with right now. Holy crap, that's a lot of minerals. So this is a really... One thing that's such a good idea about this, I don't think... So if I take the 7th star, we're... yeah, they're just hanging around. although they should be joining their compatriots. It's like, I don't think I can attack these things, so this is a... Oh, attacking neutral host... Oh, okay.
We have mastered a new technology.
I don't really want to... So I also got an achievement. What does it say? And hope unseal the path to the L cluster. So this is a great example of, like, I normally solve this kind of stuff through, like, violence or whatever, and the game has given me a mystery. It's sort of like, if you want, you can shoot at them, but you don't have to.
We have claimed a new world.
Are you sure you
for
want to
our
shoot
people.
at this thing? Focused arc emitter. These upgraded emitters are equipped with better focusing lenses, resulting in more powerful energy discharge. And I'm just going for the cheap stuff where I can.
Construction complete.
And so I think plan B is going to be... So this is the L cluster. What I'm going to do, when I've got a fleet sort of where these beasties are, through hard work and experience, Governor Gitu, son of Sen, has developed new skills. I think once my fleets are sort of in place, I might take an expeditionary force and put it through the L gate, because apparently we cannot go through the Devil's Maw gate, which is a little unusual to me. I would have thought that would have been the preferred way to access all this nonsense. But I'll distribute my fleets, and we'll see what happens. In the meantime, guys, we have one other streamer in the channel. K5 gave us the host at the beginning, and Johnny Big Time. The Eyes of Sin is here. But I will mention Jessie Quill. She was streaming today. She was streaming Dead by Daylight, which she's sort of been mainlining for the
System
last little
survey
while.
complete.
I will admit, Dead by Daylight is not my kind of thing. But obviously you don't necessarily need to enjoy the game that the streamer is playing to enjoy what they do. As I'm always fond of saying about Johnny Big Time, he was someone who
System
could
survey
stream...
complete.
He could stream Fortnite, and I would still be... I'd be tolerant of it. No, he was a lot of fun to watch in Fortnite and other such adventures. So I'm also trying to find smart ways to put the Space Cats in different buildings. But so with that in mind, I do like to shout out Jess as sort of a story-based streamer, mostly because that's kind of what I know her best for. But that doesn't stop her from playing more enjoyable games. In fact, one great example is I
Construction
don't
complete.
quite know her feelings on Stellaris, but she's certainly been hanging out for quite a few Mondays, as you've seen. And sorry, I'm just trying to figure out what my fleets are doing. But yeah, whether you like Dead by Daylight and want to follow her for that content, or whether or not you'd like to watch her continue on doing things like The Walking Dead, which she has a very deep love of. And so it's one of those examples that I could give, just like Johnny Big Time very clearly is having the time of his life when he's playing Spider-Man. I could say the same for Jessie Quill and the Walking Dead series. But whatever attracts you to a
System
particular
survey
streamer
complete.
or what they do, I definitely remember Jess best in terms of watching her play games like The Last of Us or
Construction complete.
or The Walking Dead or whatnot. And it's kind of going to continue to be the thing that I give her credit for. But obviously her talents extend beyond that,
Construction
and
complete.
including things like I've noticed quite a few people have started to do more closed captioning on their streams to sort of broaden out their communities, being able to put on some content that people who can't hear them can see. And that's very characteristic of the kind of stream that she runs. She tends to be very willing to experiment along these lines, but more importantly is also willing to share with people the means of doing these things. So those are a few different reasons to check her out, and definitely she's one of the people I've known the longest on Twitch for, and sort of encouraged me to do a lot of the talking. So for those of you who like the fact that I talk a lot, you can thank her for that. And for those of you who don't like me talking a lot, that's still probably my fault. She also is very fond of cats, so this is an indirect... I don't think it's an homage to... Okay, so I clearly brought one too many fleets. What we're going to do with this instead... So we can obviously wipe these things out, but that's not obviously to our benefit. So I'm going to try throwing this thing through the L gate. That's going to put us all the way over. Holy smokes, we've already got people checking this out. Alright, I'm just going to colonize the crap out of it then. What are you doing? Nothing?
Construction complete. System survey complete.
Yep, I got a bunch of idle ships. Okay, well. I guess I'm trying to claim the L cluster. Yeah, I felt... So actually this is another example. Jess has given me a good idea of some things to consider in terms of reaching out to people. And just generally trying to make sure that the things that I play are... I don't know, they're things that other people can enjoy. I know Jess struggles a lot with older games because of the very pixely look. And I've tried to think of ways to adapt to make that better, and I'll admit I'm not very good at it. So I'm happy that you're watching The Elder Scrolls, especially because it's a series I've had difficulty getting into in the past. But I know it's a bit of a struggle to watch it, at least in your case, so I appreciate you checking it out. By the way, for those of you who don't know what she's talking about, I am doing VODs. I'm doing them on... So I always archive my broadcasts on YouTube. But I'm doing something new, which is this is specifically designed for... this is content that's specifically made for... how do I put it? It's content that's specifically made for, like, to be not live, is what I'm trying to say. So with that in mind, if you want, what I'm doing is I am playing the very first Elder Scrolls game, Elder Scrolls Arena. And I am playing it as a Dunmer Spellsword. Which means that I am going to be... I'm playing it with the Morrowind-style voice, which may or may not be a virtue in some opinions. I have no idea what's going on here. Okay, so this is cool. I kind of figured this much. Sorry, I'm trying to do two things at once and failing. God, I really wish I knew what the hell was going on with those drakes, though. Anyways, guys, I'll shut up. So. The first episode is basically me getting through the first dungeon, and then I ran into some technical problems. for the next episode, these things go live on, if you want to watch them live on Twitch, I'm doing a vodcast for those. So if you want to watch them when they go live, you can actually come to this channel at 7 o'clock Eastern time, and you'll be able to see, whoa, what's going on here? The Ilkhan Mandate. Okay, apparently they had a rebellion, and they're no longer under me, so we'll have to fix that. Sorry about the dwarves, Johnny. But yeah, the next episode, it goes for 4 hours, and my voice was very, very sore by the end of it. But yeah, if you want to watch them, they basically premiere live on, on Twitch, but it'll be in one big playlist, so you can watch an entire playthrough, quote unquote, in character for the Elder Scrolls Arena. I'm 2 planets away from victory, but I want to find out what the Elgate, I'll admit, is a little bit it's a little more complicated than I thought it would be. Sorry, just have a quick message I need to deal with. It's also a little while. I think one thing that's kind of funny about this is that I put all the effort into opening the L gates, but it seems like people are able to get their science ships through here a little bit faster. So they may be able to capture it before me, but this is something I'm willing to fight over. So,
Construction complete.
So it looks like you might say the same to the Dunmer in Morrowind. Oh, pause. My bad. Okay. I want to double check. So I've got idle science ships, which doesn't make me feel good. So doesn't have a scientist. Okay, well, they're on their way, so what else are we gonna do? This is Otra. No problem, the exception. Sorry if I sneezed directly into that mic, by the way. I try to avoid that, but... And what I think I'll do after they're done surveying, we'll move them into the L gate, so I can explore it right away. Okay, as far as this person's concerned, I don't have a lot for them to do at the moment, so...
Construction complete.
Okay, well, I'll start with a... Ringworld section restored. Building on what remains of the ruined Ringworld section in the Cybrex Alpha system, our engineers have managed to fully restore one of its sections. The new biosphere has to be created more or less from scratch by our leading planetologists, but is now considered stable and ready for rehabilitation. So I've already got a colony ship ready to go. And we'll put you down here. Sadly, still don't have enough to construct a capital. What do I want to do with these guys? Might as well get them building something. Okay, I'm okay with them waiting there. I do kind of need to move a military unit to that system. You know what, we'll just put them back to the capital. I feel bad doing it, but... Other science ships currently not doing anything. So, what I'll do instead, they'll go back to the capital. Let's find something useful for this one to do. I wonder if I can study these things. So I'm going to hold on to my influence for a little while. Uh-oh. The Mishar Combine has declared the Dar... Oh, I'm happy that we've been declaring the Dar rivals. One of the things I'm thinking is I can try... Oh. Free dragons. Slaves rally on Turtrek. I have to live with that. So yeah, my big worry is if they wind up... researching this instead. The radical elements on Foshu's rest have been pacified and the slaves are back where they belong. I'm just going to sit on this influence, right? There's two reasons I want to sit on this influence. One, so that I can colonize the L cluster as early as possible. And then two, in the worst case scenario, I'll be able to move my capital onto the ring world.
Construction complete.
It's like this. Oh god, these guys again. I don't know. It's like living on a video game. A video game called Mass Effect. General Pathnak here, acting military governor of New Balderak. I am pleased to announce that the end of major combat operations in Sector 47G. At least 512 insurgents have been confirmed killed since the operation began 2 cycles ago, while our own losses have been minimal. Extra commendations to all forces involved in keeping civilian casualties at an acceptable level. Pathnak out. Enough! Block all future transmission. Interesting. Okay, so... go to... So again, this is I'm just idling this construction ship to make sure that the bad guys don't get it. Defense Grid supercomputer aligning defensive and offensive weapon execution paradigms allow us for increased efficiency. I'll go for the cheap stuff that's not dangerous. Did I move more than one of these things in?
Construction complete.
Holy crap, I don't have any sense at all. I've got 2 construction ships currently sitting in this system. I should not be allowed to play this game anymore. Okay. Move you here. All my construction ships are idle at the moment. And that's how I want them, unfortunately. Until I can... Okay, well this one I'll actually move here, because that's a system I want to bring into my control. I also don't think we're going to get an endgame crisis, because if I get one more planet, we win. Which is admittedly a very ordinary way to win, but... is there no work for you? I already have a stronghold here, right? Yes. I'll get you generating precious science, and you can generate more science. I might do energy at some point, but...
We have mastered a new technology.
Okay, that's the automated dreadnought. Whirlwind missiles, new miniaturization techniques. Oh! Eldrake observed. The ISS An Gavinonis entered the Gewaga system and is observing the Eldrake circling the star. The creature seems lost, but it has noted our vessel's presence. While it does not approach, its circuitous route now incorporates an almost playful plunge and sweep, seemingly directed at the ISS An Gavinonis. Perhaps we can communicate with it.
Situation log updated.
Alright, so I think we can, but I don't think that was the one that I sent to try and investigate it. So God flag. Oh no, this is the one. Okay, well, we'll research. Oh my god, that's a timed... I think I'm going to wind up going to war over these.
System survey complete. Construction complete.
And I think I'm just going to decommission one of these construction ships, because they're all sitting idle at the moment, not doing a lot.
Situation log updated.
Okay, so this is not so good, because I really need to investigate this system. Oh good, but we've got... Apparently somebody managed to get here first. I was a little worried because if this one's going to be studying if this is going to be studying the Eldrake, it's not going to be taking the L cluster. The L cluster is a really interesting idea, though. So what it seems to be, like, it's pretty powerful in the sense that you can go, you know, wherever you want in the galaxy, which we kind of figured would happen already. But obviously, so one thing that's funny is it doesn't seem like there's a major advantage to being the first mover in this sense. But it does seem to, like, it's something that everybody can sort of fight over. So, you know, on one side, you know, okay, I've claimed the L cluster, and I've just shut down the borders, so none of you guys are going to be able to explore any of this. Man, these guys are pretty bold. Are you protected by anyone? No?
Special product complete.
Oddly enough, the Eldrake responds well to transmissions broadcast at a wavelength usually reserved for IFF systems. Science Officer Tobo, son of Satu, has developed a fairly sophisticated set of commands that the Eldrake is capable to interpret, and will happily execute in exchange for the occasional friendly wrestling match with one of our science ships. I apparently now have my own pet Leviathan. Interesting. It doesn't tell me how strong this thing is. But it sure tells me I probably should find the rest of these things before my enemies do. Okay, so how are we gonna do this? We can go through the L gate. Yeah, that's exactly what we're gonna do. Ah, and that's why... Okay, so that's why it looks for nearby systems. Marin Karin, floral fascination. Several plants native to the Spurag colony, where we recently established a colony, exude copious amounts of pollen with an astounding chemical complexity. Special research project has been prepared for further study of the flora. Curious.
Situation log updated.
Okay, apparently we need to hurry the heck up on that. Oh, Jesus. Where's the closest science ship? Oh, and apparently I've got a spare scientist just kicking around? Works for me. So they will research. Okay. So it's cool that I've got a big scary weapon, and it means that I don't need to worry about these fleets anymore. So if I wanted to invade the Jubran, I would start here and I'd go straight to their capital like that. But before we do that, how about we take care of these upstarts? Okay, in the Diab system, I think I'll build Titan assembly yards. 4th star orders, I'm actually totally fine with them being bored. Oddly enough, alright, same story, so we've now got 2 Eldrakes. This is bizarre beyond words, but highly entertaining. So... Okay, so this will take care of the approach from below. Now I had... Okay, so the next priority should be this science ship should capture this 3rd one. I don't think we quite had the fleet strength to take this one on here, so maybe we'll consider them for something like the Irabot Core or something along those lines. Also, with the addition of these monsters... Ooh, okay, so we could just steamroll over the Fallen Empires at this point. Cool, sorry, this must be a little dull at this point, just because I'm kind of watching the game... I'm watching the game sort of slouch toward its conclusion. I think we only need one more colony. Oh yeah, we're like gonna win in... we're gonna win in like 10 days.
We have claimed a new world for our people.
Oh, no we're not. Okay, start by building monuments to our greatness.
We have mastered a new technology.
We will build lots of droids. Lots and lots of droids. So I'm prioritizing mineral resources over food because I've already, after trading away 300 units of food, I'm generating a surplus of 814. There's really no huge, 200% pop growth, that's wonderful. I'm not going to say no to that, but that's a little silly. But the thing is, I just don't have anything better to do with it, so. New power plant. Right, and all the other special buildings I don't have yet. Okay, so we've got new Ascension perks. Our history is a repeating cycle of dramatic technological, political, and cultural leaps. These leaps are often preceded by periods of upheaval, followed by times of relative stability. By identifying the core recurring premises of these leaps, we may be able to effectively short-circuit the cycle for our own belief. That's true, the letter B. Laundry and minor chores sorted, all with the stream in the background. I don't think you've missed that. I don't know. I might just be getting a little paranoid about this, but I'm not entirely sure that I've done a whole lot on this stream. All right. I want to make sure I'm able to get this system. Okay, well, as we were
Situation
expecting,
log updated.
we wanted to claim this for our own. And this may not be the smartest choice for my influence, but I really do want to do this, so I'm going to move the capital to New Pelob. And that got me the achievement, put a ring on it. Have a ring world section as your capital. Well, one of the most important things, the letter B, is, so I've got a cap of 10. Now, the important thing to remember about the cap is that it doesn't, the cap is not actually something, it's not a planet cap. It seems like it is because most systems have only one colonizable planet. But what the cap actually is a system cap. So
System survey complete.
one of the biggest ways the ISS Ka Tabris 4 has discovered traces of the strategic resource dubbed grayscales during its survey of Gol Salim Re. Okay, well, good to know. I'm still waiting to be able to... Oh, we can take it over now. So one of the ways that I manage all of these systems is by making sectors. So I have 103 different planets, but it's not that big of a problem because the AI is managing most of it. And in fact, if you give something for the AI to manage, like basically if you make these sectors, it means that the AI, number one, you don't get the penalties from having too many planets. But number two, the AI is going to be making a whole bunch of decisions for you. So it's sometimes frustrating to have to deal with the sectors, but if you can find a somewhat intelligent way to sort of delineate who gets what, it can actually take a lot off your plate and make things a little more manageable for you. So I'm just going to take a quick second here under the achievements. So queening, successfully capture an extragalactic matriarch, develop the means to prevent the nefarious infiltration, hatch the egg, destroy a wraith. Okay, I might be able to do that. Recruit a scientist from the curators. I think I can do that. All that I'm doing here is achievement hunting, so... Okay, olfactory arousal. Long-term exposure to the pollen naturally occurring on the Spirag colony's atmosphere acts on the colonists' pheromone receptors with a mild aphrodisiac effect. Accompanied by a barely perceptible high, the planet that produces the most potent strain is a flower common to all areas of the planet, squirreled away onto some obscure taxonomic nook by scientists on the Spirag colony, but known in the local Valen dialect as Marin Karin. You can say remarkable, pheromone first stage, happiness plus 10, or we cannot allow mind-altering particles in the atmosphere. Now let them get high.
Special product complete.
Marin Karin, pistil pondering. On closer examination, the plants native to the Spirag colony turn out to be rather dull. Some excrete pollen that has mild stimulating effect, and these are likely to have a propensity for rapid genetic change, hardly impressive enough to warrant adapting as a strategic or luxury resource. So there's two questions I'm going to ask for you guys while we while we wind this thing down. Number one is because this is sort of Paradox Grand Strategy Mondays, and I've been focusing a lot on Stellaris. If we were to finish the game tonight, would you want me to do another Stellaris playthrough? Or would you like me to go back to one of the other games? I normally play Crusader Kings is sort of my go-to. I have and will consider doing... here, I'm just going to give them I'm going to demand their vassalization. They will say no, and I will crush them. We would never surrender our independence to the likes of you. Oh, I bet you will.
We have declared war on the despicable Xenos.
I really want to test out my new Drake. But yeah, would you guys be interested in seeing more Stellaris? Or would you be interested in seeing me go back to something like Crusader Kings 2 or possibly Hearts of Iron 4, which would probably require me to learn the game a little bit better? I would also be willing to consider Europa Universalis, but I will admit I've not always had the best experience with the people who come in
Special
for
product
Europa.
complete.
All right, we've got another pet Drake. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind doing more Stellaris. I can also consider doing maybe Paradox published games. So if you'd really like to see more BattleTech or something like that. And then the other question would be, do you have any questions about... Oh, hang on. What are my leaders at? Okay, this is going to be such a waste, but... yeah, I guess the other question would be... if you have any questions about Stellaris or specifically this playthrough, because it seems like it's going to go out with a whimper, not a bang. But obviously we had a fairly good run of it. Let's recruit a scientist. 5,000. So that'll hopefully give me another... At this point, just because I'm really far ahead, I'm going to start unlocking some more... achievements. So destroy a wraith, destroy an enclave. Oh man, okay, yeah, I could turn really evil. Apparently you can terraform planets into Gaia worlds. Oh, right. I can try the Dyson Sphere. Yeah, there's actually a lot of things that I can do if I don't do the... Letter B says you can always watch some Stellaris. Blue Belt says all sounds good to me. I have definitely been considering Crusader Kings, and I know like there's the new Holy War themed DLC coming out, but that doesn't mean that we can't. That doesn't mean that we can't like do it now. Yeah, didn't even matter. Domination victory. The Valen polity has won the game by owning 40% of all habitable planets. Who had the most planets? I had the most planets. Who had the most pops? I had the most pops. Who had the most fleets? I had the most fleets. Who had the most research? I had the most research. Never figured out Crusader Kings. You can get behind that? Okay. I'm trying to remember how many times we've won on stream. Space Cat's got a win. I don't remember if the Mishar Cooperative ever got a win. Okay, well the save doesn't go away if I hit quit, so actually no, I'll do a recap on this, and we'll look through our we'll look through our library, and we'll talk a little bit more generally about Stellaris. I was kind of expecting like an endgame thing to pop up, but it never did. So, yeah, I'll figure out on Monday. Maybe I'll do like a Twitter poll or something like that. If you guys want to see Stellaris, I'm happy to keep doing it, but it's occurred to me that I've been doing it a lot, and it's been a very long time since I've done Crusader Kings, and I know people really do like it. In fact, Kite was mentioning... Actually, here's a question. Jess, do you have a preference with what you'd like to see? I know you can't always make it on Mondays, and I will not hold it to you if you don't want to stop by on Mondays. But do you have a preference on what you would like to see? Look at that handsome cat. So, I'll do a little bit of a... No preferences. Okay. Trying to do something nice. Okay. We'll talk a little bit. So, on this playthrough, this is a fairly good example of how... So, there's something I had in mind character-wise that I wanted to do. I wanted to play an egalitarian empire that was also xenophobic. And it turns out that managing... So, actually, here's maybe another direction for me to go with this before to explain. So, one of the things that's really rewarding about a game like Stellaris is you look at the... You sort of look at the games that you've played, and you can go back and say, here is what I learned. This one, there were fewer sort of major existential threats that we sort of faced. I can talk a little bit about why that happened. But the biggest thing that I wanted to try and do was this fanatic egalitarian and xenophobe. And one of the things I really learned quite well on this particular playthrough was how to make the most out of influence. And it's, telling, I did have the parliamentary system, so that helped me out here. So one of the civics that I picked, the parliamentary system with the 25% faction gain, I really needed to figure out how this was going to work, because if I didn't, what it would mean is that I'd be gaining a 25% bonus on something that I wasn't generating very effectively. So Free the Heap, I usually start as a count, but I do appreciate that. I do appreciate that feedback. One thing I've usually done, I like starting in England, but I also know that Ireland or the UK is usually a pretty easy start. So I might try something like a continental count or a duke and try and survive the tumultuous early period. Okay, I'm leaning towards CK2. I think I could probably do a hell of a lot of fan service by playing Victoria 2, especially because that's basically a really heavily economics-based game. But I've never really played it that much, so I'd have to learn it first. Well, I learned CK2 on stream, but I feel like I'd have a harder time learning Victoria 2. But anyways, yeah, I'm currently leaning towards Crusader Kings 2. We'll know for sure what happens on Monday. Anyways, so this was a little bit of an accident, but given the fact that I had this parliamentary system and that the emergence of the Electoral Freedom Watch and the Valen Preservation Movement sort of taught me these are two factions with opposing goals. So in this particular case here, I think it was the Core World exclusivity and the free movement. You can keep one faction happy or the other. Now, obviously, I've got 426 pops that that are members of the Electoral Freedom Watch. So normally I want to keep free movement, but the cost for that was, especially once I started getting a bunch of slaves, I was never really able to properly work with that. I wasn't able to distribute my slaves efficiently. I would wind up paying too much in terms of the happiness of the Freedom Watch in exchange for, a pretty minor gain from the preservation movement. Of course, I could have embraced the faction and become fanatic xenophobes, but obviously that would also involve, switching these guys over. If you take a look at the demographics, obviously egalitarianism was a very strong ethic that would take us a while to move over. So one thing that I learned was a way to, I'm liking democracies a lot more in Stellaris, I find. It's a great way to generate some unity. And it turns out to be a really great way to generate influence if you know how to do it. I think if you're not comfortable with the factions in the game, so if I think the thing that amuses me the most, you'd love to see something completely out of your comfort zone like Yakuza, Lisa, a Zelda game, etc., but you don't know if that'd be the sort of thing I'd enjoy streaming. I'm very open to streaming unusual things, and I'd like to think that I usually do, but the requirement is that on Mondays I do, in my view, I do a Paradox Grand Strategy game, so that would mean Crusader Kings, Europa Universalis, Victoria, or Hearts of Iron, or now Stellaris, and then eventually Imperator, but or is it Imperator? I think it's Imperator, but that's not out yet, and that won't be out till next year. So I'll definitely, I know I've gotten into a little bit more of a groove. I mean, every once in a while, I consider Assassin's Creed to be off the beaten track for me, but I think because I've been doing a lot of XCOM and stuff like that, I've gotten into a little bit more of a pattern. But sure, I don't have Yakuza or Lisa, or a Zelda game for that. Well, maybe on my old Game Boy. But yeah, I'll definitely, I'll see what I can do. But it's unfortunately not a Monday one I can work with right now. I could also try modding something, but I kind of feel like people want to see gameplay on Mondays. Anyways, yeah. So the big lesson that I got was managing factions. I've actually learned to really like the way that they manage factions. So if you think about it, if you really want to micromanage everything, then authoritarian ethics give you that bonus influence. And obviously you can get more from the factions, but I kind of feel like the influence you get from the authoritarianism is designed to compensate you for the fact you don't like the AI kind of telling you, well, not even the AI, just what the systems of your pops give you, telling you how to play. I almost feel like it compensates you rather than enhances it. Whereas if you do play a democratic society, generally you are going to be, caving a little bit to these factions, and I found that rather enjoyable, especially when I'm playing. Like, I wouldn't necessarily recommend if you're trying to min-max everything to play, egalitarian xenophobes. That's definitely not something that leads to. It's not going to be something that you find. By the way, Jess, I think you'll like this background. I'm not going to suggest that it's going to be something that maximizes your, all of your strengths in the game. But I do find it really interesting to juggle the politics of your society. And I mean, when we had 9 influence churning out every turn, it was clearly something that we were able to. It was clearly something that we were able to manage and do well with. So I felt good about that. That was probably the big learning experience. I kind of fell back to my old ways when we encountered a new species. I pretty much I took advantage of the fact that I had a very strong fleet and got rid of them almost immediately. And that sort of set us on the path. We got a very lucky start because we didn't really encounter anything else until the Lyrite Assembly, which we always maintained a non-aggression pact with. And by the time that we finally encountered the people we eventually vassalized, we were already sort of on this runaway growth path. I might consider adding the scaling growth to counteract that next time, because I sort of feel like this was another game where I steamrolled over everything. Again, the strategy that we've employed the last couple of times, there were no surprises along those lines. We put a lot into generating minerals early on, and we were able to expand out very quickly. Again, influence sort of helped us along these lines. Got to see the L-gates. I opened them a lot later than I was expecting, and it turns out it was very different from what I thought it would be. I'm a little disappointed that I won at the time that I did, because obviously this could turn into a big fight, but clearly when when the map looks like this, there's like, what's the point of that war? We already know who wins. I mean, for crying out loud, I think maybe there was one equivalent. Yeah, I don't even know why the Marwyr counted as equivalent, because fleet power inferior, naval capacity inferior. If I wanted to take on the fallen empires, I could have. I'm just trying to think of any other things to talk about in terms of strategies for the game. Yeah, I wanted to play my racist space cats. And they were able, much like anybody who's owned a cat, they were able to bend the owners to their will rather than to change and embrace the greater cosmos. They were very set. They decided to sit where they wanted on the galaxy, and they claimed this for themselves. Nobody would tell them otherwise. That was enjoyable. I only kind of wish that I encountered the only thing I would say differently is I wish that I encountered an in-game crisis, because I think that would have been fun to run through. I'm gonna quit for now. I will not get rid of the save file, so if we want to return this and just do goofy things, we can. But we'll do a quick trip down memory lane before we finish tonight. Now, when I'm playing privately with K5 and Melemony and their community, I am playing the Malwagal Research Partnership. They are a mega corporation. They have corporate dominion and mechanist. They're authoritarian and fanatic materialists. They're intelligent, decadent, and natural sociologists. And their backstory is originally a network of research universities. The Malwagal Research Partnership was incorporated shortly after obtaining patents on ships capable of interplanetary travel. Its monopoly on the riches of space led to a rapid acquisition of refining facilities and eventually all means of engineering on Kara. Local governments remain the official regulatory bodies, but they do so under the approval of the Research Partnership and its Department of Political Mathematics. So, sort of this is what happens if your prof wound up running the world. The Valen Polity, I know for a fact, we don't know if this one got a win. The Valen Polity, democratic, parliamentary idealists, fanatic egalitarian and xenophobes. They're slow learners, traditional and intelligent. The Valen Polity is founded on highly democratic principles and very closed minds. Veilgar's home is home to a very active public discourse that follows highly predictable and conservative lines of thought. Despite this, it has also produced some of the galaxy's finest scientists. When confronted with new concepts, a Valen will process the thought to make it orthodox. But once it has done so, few can deny the tremendous feats of ingenuity that result. The creatures from Veilgar present the galaxy with a paradox, a race of highly capable scientists and explorers who mistrust and devalue everything that they find. I've not played on stream as this one. This was just something I made myself, so I'm leaving. And I haven't played these guys either. I seem to remember these guys, I don't think we finished with them because they were... I think what happened was Distant Stars came out before this one finished, so the Zukhakan Cabal, Kamdor's history is one of rival fleets competing for the ocean world's few islands. Ports and land brought wealth, but also raids of all other pirate fleets, giving rise to an ancient and respected naval tradition among the Zukukan. Recognizing the value of plunder and always short on crew, the Pirate King sought to subdue their foes with as little damage to their future plunder and slaves as possible, a habit that continues to this day. Today marks a new chapter in the history of the Zukukan, united under the admiralty of the Pirate Queen Prim Krek. The species takes its first steps to the stars, seeking new worlds and the riches that they may bring. The Blessed Alari Grand Duchy. I think we were close to winning on this one, but again, another patch kept us from finishing. So these also had slaver guilds and the syncretic evolution, fanatic authoritarian spiritualists who were thrifty, traditional, and decadent. From each according to their ability. So it is written on the walls of the first temple, and so it remained. Alari society is one of exchange and service. The rigid hierarchy belies a very active social mobility, while the bright amassing great fortunes, and the slow losing it all and being reduced to slaves. The Grand Duke oversees this dynamic system, and all seek to emulate his wisdom and shrewd dealing, lest the next generation erase all the gains that have been made. Everyone and everything has its place, and it will find it inside the Blessed Alari Grand Duchy. These ones were another one I made privately. Mandasura Order, I believe, is the one that the Eyes of Sin requested. So this was a theocratic monarchy with an efficient bureaucracy and functional architecture. They're xenophobic, militarist and spiritualist. They're fleeting, thrifty, and conservationists. I've technically not played these ones, but one of the galaxy's greatest paradoxes is why a planet as beautiful as Laborius Primus should be inhabited by a species utterly indifferent, indeed hostile, to anyone seeking to witness it. The Mandasura are as beautiful as their homeworld, and yet the only reliable account of the species or planet is the savagery with which they protect this gem. The Mandasura seem only concerned with inward perfection during their reportedly short lives. However, the galaxy may finally be able to bear witness to these enigmatic creatures, as reports from Laborius Primus indicate Mandasuran ships exploring their system. The Mandasura may finally be prepared to make their debut. The Tekrus multi-system, I definitely know that we got a win on this one. This was our first driven assimilator. They're rockbreakers, gestalt consciousness, their machines bulky, uncanny, recycled, and mass-produced. The planet known as 01 was home to a monastic order known as the Savelli, dedicating themselves to move beyond the pursuit of transitory knowledge and learn truths eternal. To that end, they fashioned a servitor race designed to be the accumulation and dedicated to the accumulation and caretaking of transitory knowledge in all its forms. The Savelli passed beyond this realm, and their servitors, the Tekrus, were left to fulfill their mandate. Time passed. 01 was covered in ice, and the caretaker finally understood its purpose and went out into space to account for and incorporate all organic life. So the secret of this one was that the Savelli basically died and were reanimated by the Tekrus multi-system. So the idea was this was a hyper-spiritualist species that went extinct and was brought back as sort of these cyborg corpses, having given birth to effectively the Borg. The Mishar Cooperative, these were my space communists, also mechanist, mining guilds, egalitarian, and fanatic materialist. They were only intelligent. The Mishar were a society of early industrial age intellectuals who harnessed early automation technology to build an egalitarian society on the frontier, free from exploitive labor. They were next heard from when they were encountered nearly a decade later with reports of vast wealth and towering structures of the colony. Their social experiment having been proven, the Mishar spread their ways across Oros. The Mishar child's first friends are its mechanical servants, and generations have passed without the conception of physical labor. Now emerging from the technological cocoon, the Mishar are bringing their mechanical companions into space to enter the last phase of their development. The Hazar Collective was one that I made for fun. We never played it, but there was a day that we made the Hazar, the Carillion, and the Commonwealth of Kiril. So we made 3 just for fun. So this is a collective consciousness with divided attention, the strength of legions. It's hive-minded, repugnant, intelligent, and a rapid reader. At the dawn of Hazari FTL travel, their homeward Pogavan was embroiled in a world war driven over disputes as to the colonization rights of the planets that they hoped to discover. One Hussar sought to move past the petty squabbles that held the Hussar back for millennia and would unite them once and for all, not through military conquest, but through achieving the final stage of their evolution. Through his network of contacts, he placed the virus in key cities around Povagon, and as the armies claimed victory, they were infected and turned to serve the swarm. The Hussar are finally unified in purpose, and the colonization may begin. So this is the idea here that in the middle of a world war, somebody created this fungus that turned everyone into drones. And thank you, K5. Yeah, the challenge with this is I make each of these biographies and then they just kind of go away. So I figured I'd go into the library and we'd review them because I obviously finished the game a little earlier than I thought I would. So this one I liked because we basically took the same... So I started by making the Commonwealth of Kirill, which is direct democracy. It's beacon of liberty with mining guilds, fanatic, egalitarian, and materialist. And they were thrifty. So this species is known as the Gox. The Gox spawned on Kirill, a planet long thought to be inhospitable to all forms of life. The unrelenting sun and scarce resources forced the creatures that managed to survive to adapt and cooperate with each other. This cooperation gave birth to commerce, civilization, and now spaceflight. Through the efforts of making most of what the planet has to offer among all members of society, the Kirill have no concept of a zero-sum game and instead see each trade through all of its facets and do not consider it done until both parties have achieved their ends. So the idea here is basically these creatures adapted on the planet to be extremely good merchants, but ones that are conscious of the other side. Their idea of a deal is not to maximize for myself, but they're basically, if you've ever taken an economics class, they are basically the social planner. That is how they think. But I made a companion race called the Carillion Conglomerate, who are a trade league, oligarchic, corporate dominion, mining guilds, egalitarian, fanatic, materialist. So notice the fanaticism is switched, and they have a slight difference in terms of their biology. So thrifty, solitary, and quick learners. On the deserts of Kirill, there were those known as the water drinkers, who greedily sought any oasis and claimed it as their own. The Goxi ethic demanded that as members of society, they too had their place. But as time went on, the population began to stretch its resources. The excesses of the water drinkers faced the elected representatives with the choice of exile for some or starvation for all. The water drinkers were sent off and found a new home on the planet Yan. Not forgetting their origins, the water drinkers named themselves Carillions, considering themselves the true sons of their homeland. The Carillion ethic is one of advancement at any cost. The market must not be impaired, and all must rise or fall according to its operations. Thank you, Free the Heap. Yeah, I thought it'd be fun to sort of share some of these ideas, because this is one of the reasons why I really like Stellaris, is that you, like... Sometimes what I'll do is I'll sit down and I'll pick a few little traits, and I'm like, what kind of a backstory can I come around this? Or sometimes I'll have an idea of a backstory, and then I'll try and build I'll try and build the ideas around it. So like the one that I just finished, right, the Valen Polity, it's quite literally, I'm like, what would a cat be like if I had to make a cat in Stellaris? And then I was like, well, I also want to try this idea of sort of competing ideals, where it's like you've got this extremely liberal, well, maybe not liberal, but like this profoundly democratic society, but one that has utterly repellent ideas. And, you know, how do you navigate something like that? This one is particularly funny. I think we did win with this. I believe this is the first species I made for playing online. The Oklar Citizen State. And the funny thing about this one was the idea I had for this one was basically like a Johnny Walker commercial. And I really wanted the idea. The funny thing about this one, I'll explain this after the biography. But I wanted to see with this one something that I could play multiple playthroughs with and have these different paths that the society would go down. So it's a citizen republic, distinguished admiralty, citizen service, militarist, fanatic, materialist. I had a big kick on like I really like materialist empires for a while, so they're a little overrepresented in the bottom bit here. Intelligent, deviant, wasteful, and adaptive. Have you done your part? Originally a slogan designed to sell consumer goods 2 decades into the war that engulfed Glira. It was adopted by Adrig Den Badir to unite his people to press on in the Great War. While the borders did not change, the Oklari united behind his leadership until he was world president in all but name. Declining to serve a second term, he was followed by his 2 sons. Under their rulership, the Oklar have finally taken to the stars. But as the Great War recedes into memory, can society's martial traditions be held by a mere advertising slogan? So, I mean, again, I just sort of liked this idea. I mean, there's a few things about advertising that I was reading that went into that one. But what I liked here was that when I play, so one of the ideas that I had was that in playing, so the fact that there's deviance and also the fact that you can change the style, I wanted this tension and I wanted the possibility of playing this multiple times and saying, it's like, okay, in this one, the sons wind up becoming a, they did. I believe we won with this one. So they retained their democracy because what happened was the sons died. But I was eventually going to turn it more authoritarian, and it was going to become more of a, basically a military dictatorship, or possibly an imperial power. But the game basically said no, and they died early, and so democracy was preserved. And I just, like, the thing that I like about this is you can lean into those decisions, and it's like, okay, that's where the game's gonna go. So I'll give you guys an example of one of the things I want to do, and I need to figure out exactly how I can do this in an effective way. I'm kind of giving away some secrets, but let's hit this all here. And who do I want to play? Yeah, we'll do the Valen again. Two or three, I guess, depending on what your definition is. I had a problem for a long time that I kept winning the game before the end game events would trigger. So how many do I have again? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay. Well, we can randomize these. Let's do a good old-fashioned elliptical one, and we will turn off Iron Man mode. It doesn't really matter what the difficulty is, but... So let me just take a minute here. So don't, like, hold your breath for me doing something like this, because I've got some ideas behind how this will happen, but so I think there we go. So this is observer mode, so you get to see the whole thing going. So there's the Otaga sovereignty, the Commonwealth. Okay, so there's the Commonwealth of Kirill. I believe this is these are, yeah, so oh cool, Carillion wildlings, no relation. So there's the Tekris multi-system. Zukukan Cabal apparently is split over 2 systems. Okay, so the Carillion, the original society and the exiles are here. This is the Alari Grand Duchy. It looks like they became an advanced start, as did the Mandasura Order. There's the Mishar. Yeah, so basically here are all the systems. And okay. This might mess with the stream, but let's see. God, I might regret this. 10? Just as long as OBS doesn't break. Actually, you know, the better option... Well, okay. I'm going to do something really stupid. Oh, yeah, that was stupid. I know there's like an advance button. So you probably are not going to be able to see anything on the screen here because it's doing like, I don't remember if I put 1,000 or 10,000 ticks. Basically the game's running at hyperspeed because I'm trying to find the, like, advance the game by however many. Oh, here we go. Just do one. And then, so all of these are available on the wiki. So this is simulating the galaxy now up to the year 2400, I believe. So basically it's giving it 200. That can't be right. Oh, here we go. So apparently after 200 years, the Zukukan Cabal has been eating up their side of the world. The Valen Polity. Okay, so apparently the Space Cats are absolutely unstoppable. The Blessed Alari Grand Duchy has been asserting itself. The Mandasura Order is hanging on. The Mishars retain one planet. The Hazar Collective. Okay, so basically the major players on this one are the Space Pirates, Space Cats, the fungus that. The fungus that united the warring clans, and my my space pope. Losers at the moment are... Who the hell are these guys? Oh, this is my peaceful research group. They're not doing so well. Actually, the Mishar have 3 planets. I think these were my parrots. I didn't give the biographies for these, but sadly, but I'm actually kind of curious with the Zukukan, if I go to their homeworld, whether or not I can see any whether or not I can see any where's the bloody capital? I want to see if I can find any, like, slaves. Oh, I thought you would have liked the Mandasura. Liseth? It's really hard to find the capital. Okay, I won't spend too much time searching for this. But yeah, so basically, like, you can simulate. What I would prefer to do would be to so what are they fighting? The Guardians of Zana. What? Oh my god! What is this? Has the world gone mad? Oh, the fungus models. But yeah, in the so one thing I know I don't want to do. Oh, you know what's probably happened is it advanced the game, but it didn't get rid of the locals. So what's happened is all of these colonies have been built, but they haven't gotten rid of their. They haven't like gotten rid of the hazards that were in there. So there's going to be like a bunch of fights. So one of the things I don't like about this system is that it automatically goes to different combat. Oh, actually, here's another thing that I can do, which I think is really cool. Build gamepads. Stellaris. I have to do this from memory. Cool. Okay. So let me pause. Let's find something. Let's find something fancy. All right. Okay. Oh, hang on. Would help if I plugged it in. Ah. Tricky to. Oh my god. Okay. So then we do Control F9. Oh, damn it. I'm trying to do something fancy. If there's a way for me to, there's got to be a way for me to like pan up. Ah, here we go. So I'm learning these controls as I go, but yeah. Just wanted a dramatic pull back like that. Or felt particularly inspired. I don't know, maybe something like this. Oh, I got it. Oh, it's off center a little bit. Sorry, it's been a while since I've done camera stuff. I thought I should be able to. Oh, you know what? I pushed the wrong bumper. That should center it a bit. Okay. God, this is harder than I thought. Anyway, so if you ever wondered how the Stellaris cinematics got made, it's basically this gamepad thing. I also think I need to get a slightly better gamepad, but anyways. So I was hoping to try and do something where this would be a little bit more in the center as I move back. I mean, I might be able to make it work at this distance. So if I queue up the shot. Oh, it's because I'm probably on the wrong angle. So I need to be like right dead center. Anyway, so maybe we just get a nice majestic view of the planet's surface. And there'd be a fleet on the end of this, and it'd be flying over, and then the dramatic music would come up. Speaking of which, let's see if we can find some dramatic combat to do in slow motion, and then we'll call it a night. How about? Unless, if somebody has an idea for like some kind of science fiction magic you'd like to... Oh, here we go. Let's see if we can do a dramatic fly through this. I wonder also, I'm going to take a quick sec. Okay, so that's a slow pan. That seems to be fast. That doesn't do anything. Okay. So it mostly just looks like you've got panning and tilting, but... So let's see if I can do something... There's never a grip, so I'm not very good at pushing... Oh, it's not gonna work. Just trying to find some decent... Oh, that looks kind of neat, actually. I wonder if there's a way that you can change the focal lengths at all. I don't know if there's any way, like... So it'd be kind of neat as if there's a way of, like, getting the, I think I was trying to get too much into the frames, but, like, maybe you could even try something like, if you wanted to focus on this fleet, you could do something like... So I think this is the slow down version. Something like that. So the drawback is I don't get... So what would be ideal for me is when doing a stream... I'll see if I can find some combat while we're doing this. While we were doing combat and I just let the music go... Oh yeah, I never actually brought the music back down. It would be great if I could do that while a fight was going on and be able to, like, really show you some dramatic action. The drawback is... Okay, I think this is going to be some fighting. I think the drawback is... or maybe not, actually. I don't think this thing defends itself. Well, it's fighting, though, so... we'll see if we can do something about it. We'll slow it down a bit. But yeah, so it'd be great if I could have a fight that was going on and to be able to have this kind of control. But unfortunately, the console is completely disabled when you are on Iron Man or multiplayer. Okay, well, this will do. So let's get a good shot, a good angle. I'd love to have the sun in the area, but... oh, you know what? Saturn in the background works for me. It's so hard to manage this all. Okay, we're on to... Oh, this will be fun. Let's try and get a slow move. Oh god, this will be fun. Get it to line up. I can't keep on track with them. But we can view this all from an angle we've never seen before, below. Is anything else happening? No, they're coming after the... Want to add a little motion, you can always do a slow pan. That's the kind of shot I was looking for. All right, I think I'm done. If you guys want to do that on your own and you own Stellaris, you press the tilde key, you do gamepad. I just disabled it. You can set up whatever scenarios you want. You can go to stellaris.paradoxwikis.com/console_commands. You can basically manipulate it to do whatever you want. Do make sure that you're not enabled for Iron Man mode. But other than that, actually there is one more thing I'll show you. I'll show you just how cool the planets look. There's nothing better than looking at the rings. Okay, maybe that's a little too close to make the... I realize I got all the crap of the UI in here, but I think this is a really beautiful game. Gotta get the lens flare. All the best filmmakers do it, right? But yeah, basically, as long as you have a gamepad plugged into the... as long as you have a gamepad plugged into your computer, as long as you open the console that says gamepad, just start using the sort of the thumbsticks, and see if we can get a cool shot of the sun. I always miss it. Yeah, so the ideal form for me is not just to do, yeah, you can do the game, you can do the gamepad in this Galaxy screen. It's just not very exciting. But the ideal for me would not be just to hit Advanced Galaxy, because obviously, you know, that will give me a result of some kind, but it won't necessarily be all that exciting. Well, you know what? There's definitely some stuff that I could do with... I think there's definitely some interesting things you can do with this Galaxy map and this controller. You know, if you think that the hyperlanes are getting in the way and you want a poor approximation of... So, what are these various nations fighting for? You know, probably would have helped if I went. But yeah, I mean, for some kind of progress. I mean, if you had the game going fast enough that you can actually see some progress on the borders, to be able to take a view like this, I think would be kind of interesting. But as long as you're not in Iron Man mode, or as long as you're not in a multiplayer game, open the console, hit gamepad. You can record, or you can, you know, do whatever you want. But my idea would be to try and get the AI to play against itself in a way that... Oh, who followed? Free the Heap. Thank you very much for that. Sorry, I know this is not really most people's idea for Stellaris, but seeing as we're probably going to be doing some Crusader Kings next week, I figured I could talk a little bit about some of the cool things that I've been playing. So if Jess is still here, she is the one who can give you... I really think I've made... I think I've caused some problems for myself now. Oh yeah. I've the camera is is well and truly outside of any recoverable place. Sorry about that. So yeah, Jess knows that I've been sitting on this for a while. And what I would like to try and do at some point is to take all of those species that I've done, and I'll keep making more because I like playing this game and I like coming up with these little science fiction stories, and I really like it when you guys like them. So thank you for that feedback. But if I can, I'd like to try and find a way to put them all into a battle royale, and not just to like watch it and do like a time lapse or something like that, but I would like to narrate the story of it. And I would like to do some cinematic approaches to the battles that happen. over the course of that game. And that is obviously a very, very big project to do, and I'm not 100% sure how. I'm not 100% sure how I'm gonna quite make it work, but I'm thinking about it. So that was the Valen Polity. Thank you everybody for staying for the extra hours. I am well and truly done for tonight. We're gonna put Stellaris to bed for a little while, but that doesn't mean it's going away forever. I think I am gonna do Crusade again, depending how I feel. I'm definitely feeling like I should do one of the other Paradox games because it's been Stellaris for months. But as far as the rest of the stream goes, very likely to see some more XCOM Wednesday and Friday. I had a lot of fun doing. K5, thank you very much for the cheer. I'm sorry, Flen. Yeah, we won as the racist space cats, the Valen Polity. I mean, I don't know if today's stream was all that exciting because we were well ahead and we just sort of jogged over the finish line. But I had fun with it. I liked my slightly racist democratic space cats. I love the way his eyes opened as I called him slightly racist. But I will be back with more Stellaris. I just think it would be good to change things up a little bit. I'll do some Crusader Kings and then we can see what the appetite is for more games. Obviously, if there's like a new DLC that drops or something like that, and that applies for any Paradox game. As long as I have a copy of it, I'll happily play it. But you have a keen interest in Hearts of Iron and Europa Universalis. So the game I don't know and the game I've had trouble streaming before. We'll see what I can manage on those. But yeah, I don't know how educational this was. One thing I might try and do to tide people over on the Stellaris things is I've been debating on trying to do some kind of tutorial for the game. But I want to try and make it a tutorial that survives different patches, which is always a struggle. But we'll figure that all out. I should probably stop talking and let people watch someone else. We'll get a new Stellaris patch coming at some point soon. That rework. Yes, I don't normally follow the development diaries, but some people have been posting screenshots of some of the cool demographic stuff, and all I can say is I'm always excited for more Stellaris. But I don't know about how soon. I think they've usually. I thought their line was that it wasn't coming up. Like I think it was supposed to be further than people were saying. I don't know though. I don't know what I'm talking about. I just occasionally check out the developer diaries, mostly for the screenshots. But yeah, it's cool. I mean, it's the way it's always been, right? You normally get like a sort of a story pack sort of thing, which is Distant Stars or Synthetic Dawn or Leviathans. And I mean, anybody who wants to say that those were not high quality patches at a good price, like, you got the Horizon signal in Leviathans, for crying out loud. Like, what more do you want? But the big change ones are usually in between those. So like Utopia, Apocalypse, and then whatever this next one, the Legend patch, will give us. And I mean, we got a bunch of extra stuff that came into Distant Stars too, so I'm looking forward to spending more time on it. I just might do some of that in private, but I'll try and do some VOD stuff along the lines of trying to, if I can come up with a good way to teach Stellaris, I'll try and record that. Expect Crusader Kings 2 on Monday, but please don't hold me to it. If the muse moves me elsewhere, I'll go that way. But I know Kite was mentioning he'd really like to see Crusader Kings. And yeah, I want to try and wrap up XCOM. I will admit, from Friday's XCOM game, I did wind up playing a little bit of the game on my own. I did keep the saves, though, so if you want to make me go back and do all my work again, I will. But I really like playing XCOM, so I did a little off-cast time. And finally, last but not least, if you like role-playing stuff, so especially Sin was mentioning she likes to see me do things outside of my comfort zone, I have always struggled to get into the Elder Scrolls as a gamer. It's like my secret shame. And one of the ways that I'm doing it is to play the entire series from... Okay, the main games. So that means I'm not going to play like Redguard, and I don't consider Elder Scrolls Legends, like the card game, to be something that I'm obligated to do, but I do intend to do 1 through 5, so that's Arena, Daggerfall, Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim, and Elder Scrolls Online. Yeah, I've struggled to do the Elder Scrolls, so I'm actually getting into this series by playing Arena. But anyways, if you want to watch those, the first episode is on the first episode is on YouTube now. The second episode, which is a full length, most people only do Oblivion and Skyrim. Or no, yeah, I am doing. Okay, so you should probably check this out now. Not only am I doing it all, I'm doing it as the same character, in character, and I'm playing a Dark Elf.
Which means I use the Dark Elf voice.
So yeah, my throat was very sore after the 4-hour cast. I'm gonna do my best to keep that to a weekly release of Tuesdays, but because it takes me a very long time to make those videos, I may not be able to do them every Tuesday. But if you do want to see that, 7 o'clock Eastern Time on Tuesday is when that goes live on Twitch, so you can chat during those, and I do occasionally stop by and check out the chat, but if I don't reply, it's because I'm not always watching it. I will also do it on... it also gets released on YouTube, so, and it'll be in a playlist, so unlike my other VODs where you have to search for everything. You played Cultist Simulator 2? It's okay. I have been playing Cultist Simulator for a very long time. Okay. Without any interest in starting fights with people, there was a claim made on the Discord that I was not the first person to play Cultist Simulator. And while I do not assign a lot of importance on who gets to make that claim, I did check when I first did Cultist Simulator in its early alpha, and nobody had casted that game. And I know because I looked in games and demos, and it was going to be a factor that I weighed. If people were already doing it, I was going to do another game. But with that in mind, there might be another person who takes umbrage at that claim, and I have no intention of treading on any toes. But with that in mind, the developers have been very gracious in terms of the attention that they've given me, including I was invited to stream it on Steam when I was invited to stream it on Steam when they did their first sale for Lovecraft's Birthday. And yeah, I helped. I was a Kickstarter backer as well, and I really enjoyed that game. I liked the first early alpha that I played, and I liked the development build, and I'm really bad at giving bug feedback. But occasionally I got a nice email saying that it was very helpful, and I think the developers are very wonderful people, and I got to interview them on GOG, and I have played that game for like 3 months solid. and that's on a little bit of a break because I want it to be fresh when the Dancer DLC comes out in a little over a month. So yes, I like Kickstarter a lot, and it was a really wonderful source of growth for this channel. So I have nothing but good things to say about Cultist Simulator. And if you didn't know, Alexis Kennedy wrote the Horizon Signal for Stellaris. But yeah, I have a bunch of special projects I'm doing. Elder Scrolls Arena tomorrow if you want to watch it live. Well, vodcast, so the recording will... I'm doing special premieres on Twitch of this thing at 7 o'clock Eastern on as many Tuesdays as I can manage to make videos for them. I'm going to try and do another vodcast thing for Thursdays, but it's really, really, really hard for me to make enough content for 5 days a week because I do 3 live things on weekdays. I'm now making these Elder Scrolls videos, and the Thursday one is really pushing my reserves to a point that I don't know I can sustain it. But I do have one thing in the can, and I want to see if I can make more on a good pace. And I think because somebody in here was mentioning getting some D&D together, it's not exactly that, but I think that might be appealing to people who like the D&D sort of things. I still also have that secret project I was working on that I wanted to have ready for September. It is involving me going to the library and archives and museums, and I did not even begin to appreciate how much research I need to do for that. So I'm trying to work quickly, but I want to do it right, so that is on ice until I get my act together. You're working on making a campaign now? Cool. I haven't done a lot of desktop or tabletop RPGs just because I don't have a lot of people to play them with. But anyways, guys, I did say I was going to finish a while ago. Thank you for tolerating the announcements and the hoopla. I always do value your feedback. I also value your praise and adoration and your bits and your subs and your follows and all of that. If you feel like there's something missing in terms of the stuff that I'm covering, because I know I'm doing a lot of XCOM right now, do feel free to at least say, I like it when you do X, and I will try to restore the equilibrium. But there's a lot of stuff coming up, and I hope you guys like it. But until then, I will see you on Wednesday. So, let's host W. Shand. W. Shand is streaming indie investigations, so usually they're pretty small games. I need to write tonight. Yeah, I just created a lot of work for myself. Anyways, W. Shand is a lot of fun. I have no idea what he's playing, but he usually does a very good job of keeping the crowd entertained and ready to go. So thank you, the Blue Belts, Eyes of Sin, K5RTO. Quick word as well to the people who are hosting me right now: Freighter5, Flofi, Vanguard Master, Maka Angzir, Nubisaur42, Mr. Franz, Amber Ray, Yorkshire Bastard, Inferno Fowler, Johnny Big Time, Ottawa Streamers. Oh my god, it restarted. So Starbright Knight, Ottawa Streamers, Yorkshire Bastard, Mr. Franz, Custom Games, Inferno Fowler, Malerside, Vanguard Master, Johnny Big Time, Freighter5, Mango Duck, Amber Ray, Flofi, Nubisaur42, K5RTO, Maka Angzir, and Unknown Brigade. I'm sorry I had to say it so fast, but I need to actually get through that list before Twitch resets it. I'm shutting up and giving you W. Shand. I will see you all Wednesday. I hope you enjoy the Elder Scrolls thing tomorrow. And until then, have a great night.